There is a power within each of us, an infinite intelligence that shapes our world according to the state of our being. Too often we believe we must struggle, strive, or beg for divine guidance. But the truth is simpler and far more profound. The moment we align ourselves with the feeling of already being led, the path unfolds effortlessly before us. Lord, take control of my life and lead me in your perfect way today. This is not a plea. It is a declaration of surrender to the highest version of ourselves. It is an acknowledgement that we do not need to see every step ahead. We need only assume that the way is already made. If we truly understood that our inner state determines our outer experience, we would stop looking for signs and start living as if the answer has already arrived, because it has. The divine does not lead through uncertainty. It leads through faith. When you assume you are divinely guided, you will walk in perfect timing, meet the right people, and doors will open without effort. So today, let us step into that knowing. Let us no longer hope for guidance, but live in the absolute assurance that we are already being led. Let us declare, I am one with divine wisdom, and move forward as if it were impossible to fail, because when we surrender to this truth, failure is not an option, only fulfillment remains. The greatest secret of life is that the world you see around you is not separate from you. It is the direct reflection of your inner state. Everything you experience, every event that unfolds, every person you encounter is shaped by the assumptions you hold and the images you entertain within your mind. Imagination is not a mere tool for fantasy. It is the creative power through which all things are made. Consider for a moment the nature of your thoughts. Have you not noticed that what you persistently dwell upon, whether good or bad, eventually finds a way into your experience? This is not coincidence, nor is it a matter of luck or fate. It is the law of life. What you assume to be true in the depths of your being becomes the fabric of your reality. Most people live reactively, believing they are at the mercy of circumstances, yet they fail to see that it is their imagination that gives rise to those very circumstances. If you continually see yourself as uncertain, lost, or struggling, the world will mirror those states back to you. But if you assume with absolute certainty that you are guided, protected, and led in divine wisdom, life must conform to that assumption. To surrender to divine guidance is not to passively wait for signs and instructions. It is to assume the state of being already led. It is to see yourself as one who walks in confidence, knowing that every step is orchestrated with perfection. The mind, when left undirected, drifts into doubt and fear, but when disciplined, it becomes the architect of a life transformed. Everything you have ever desired, every breakthrough you seek, already exists in potential, but it is through the creative act of imagination that it takes shape and moves from the unseen to the seen. You need not struggle to make things happen. You need only persist in the assumption that they already are. The world does not create you. You create the world through the visions you hold and the states you embody. If you want to know what tomorrow holds, look no further than the dominant thoughts and feelings you carry today. What you imagine with conviction is the blueprint from which life constructs your experience. Therefore, to be led in the perfect way is not to wait for guidance, but to assume here and now that you already walk in it. Faith is not mere hope, nor is it blind belief in something external to you. It is the very substance of creation, the unseen reality that precedes all that becomes visible in your life. Everything you have ever received, every event that has shaped your path, was first formed in the invisible realm of faith before it took shape in the material world. Faith is not an empty wish. It is the conviction that what you seek already exists, that what you desire is already yours, and that what you assume to be true must come to pass. Most people misunderstand faith because they confuse it with waiting for proof. They believe only when they see, but true faith requires you to see before the evidence appears. It is the inner knowing that what you have accepted as real within yourself must be expressed in the world around you. This is why faith is called the substance, because it is the very thing that gives form to your desires. Without it, nothing can be made manifest. With it, all things are possible. To live by faith is to trust in the unseen more than the seen. It is to know that the physical world is merely a shadow of the assumptions you hold within. If you believe that your life is uncertain, unstable, or lacking direction, then that belief will solidify into experience. But if you believe with unwavering certainty that you are guided, that every step is laid out before you in divine perfection, then your path will reflect that assumption. Faith does not ask for guarantees, it creates them. The moment you accept something as true within your consciousness, you set unseen forces into motion. You may not know how the events will unfold. You may not see the bridge that connects where you are to where you wish to be, but faith assures you that the bridge exists, even if it remains invisible to your physical eyes. Doubt is the enemy of faith, for doubt is nothing more than faith in the wrong direction. When you entertain thoughts of uncertainty, fear, or failure, you are still using faith. You are simply placing it in the reality you do not wish to experience. But when you shift your faith toward the unseen good, when you believe in the fulfillment of your desires before they materialize, you align yourself with the very power that brings them into being. Everything in your life right now is a reflection of the faith you have placed in past assumptions, the circumstances you encounter, the people you meet, the opportunities that come your way. None of these are random. They are the direct result of what you have believed to be true about yourself and your world. If you wish to change your life, you must first change the foundation upon which it stands, and that foundation is faith. There is no need to struggle to create a new reality. You need only assume the feeling of already living in it. When faith becomes the substance of your inner world, it inevitably becomes the structure of your outer world. Faith is not passive. It is the force that molds reality itself. There is no greater power in existence than the awareness of being. Before anything in your life takes form, before any experience manifests, there is the recognition of self, the knowing that you exist, and this awareness is not separate from the divine. It is the very essence of it. The two simple words, I am, hold within them the secret to all creation, for whatever follows them determines the course of your reality. Most people move through life unaware of the power they wield in these words. They speak carelessly, attaching limiting beliefs to their identity, not realizing that each declaration of I am plants a seed in the fertile soil of consciousness. I am lost. I am struggling. I am not good enough. These are not just statements. They are decrees, commands that life must fulfill. The world does not shape you. Rather, you shape the world by what you declare yourself to be. Long before anything appears in your experience, it is first spoken within. The moment you affirm something as true of yourself, you invite it into expression. This is why transformation begins not with action, but with assumption. What you assume to be true about yourself will inevitably reflect in your life. If you wish to be guided to walk in divine wisdom, you must first assume the identity of one who is already led. It is not enough to desire change. You must embody it through the consciousness of I am. When you say, I am strong, I am guided, I am walking in divine favor, you do more than speak words. You shift into a state of being that must be made real. The outer world is only a mirror, and it cannot reflect anything other than what is impressed upon it by the inner world. The great mistake is believing that conditions dictate identity, when in truth, identity dictates conditions. Many seek change by attempting to rearrange the external, seeking new opportunities, looking for signs, waiting for circumstances to align. But all of this is backward. The secret is not to wait for proof, but to assume the identity now. If you wish to be successful, you do not say, one day I will be. You declare, I am successful, and you persist in that assumption until the world conforms to it. If you wish to be healed, you do not wait for symptoms to disappear. You declare, I am whole, and live in the conviction that wholeness is your reality. Everything in your life is an expression of what you have declared yourself to be. If you constantly affirm limitations, they will persist because life must honor the identity you assume. But the moment you change your self-concept, the moment you declare something new with conviction, you shift into a reality where that declaration is true. The power is not in circumstances. The power is in the consciousness that determines them. To be led in divine wisdom is not to seek guidance as if it is separate from you. It is to declare, I am divinely led, and to trust that every thought, every action, every step you take is in alignment with that truth. It is to claim with certainty that the highest intelligence moves through you, that you are already walking the perfect path, and that all things are unfolding for your highest good. The secret to manifesting the life you desire is not found in waiting, hoping, or pleading. It is in assuming right now that you already are the person you wish to be. This is the great mystery that few understand. You do not become something by striving for it. You become it by assuming you already are. To live from the end is to occupy in imagination and feeling the state of your fulfilled desire so completely that the world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match that assumption. Most people live in reaction to their current circumstances, allowing the external world to dictate their internal state. They say, I will be happy when my situation changes, or I will feel at peace when I receive guidance, not realizing that their very waiting keeps them in the state of lack. But creation does not work that way. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. The moment you claim a new reality within yourself, the outer world begins to shift to reflect it. Consider how life unfolds when you persist in the feeling of already being led, already being successful, already being loved. When you assume that you are divinely guided, you stop looking for signs and start moving with confidence. When you assume that everything is working in your favor, you stop worrying about obstacles and start acting as though the way is already made. This is not self-deception. This is the way reality functions. The external world is nothing more than a shadow cast by the inner state. To live from the end means to think, feel, and act as if your desire is already fulfilled. It means walking with the certainty that what you have imagined is not something distant, but something already accomplished. The mind, when disciplined, does not dwell on obstacles. It dwells only on the reality that has already been claimed. If you wish to be led in the perfect way, you must assume with full conviction that you are already being led. You must act as though divine wisdom is already guiding your steps, and you will find yourself moving effortlessly in alignment with that assumption. Many fall into the trap of praying for what they lack rather than assuming they already possess it. They ask, "Please guide me," instead of declaring, "I am guided." They beg, "Help me find peace," instead of affirming, "I am at peace." The universe does not respond to need, it responds to assumption. The one who already feels blessed will receive more blessings. The one who already feels loved will attract more love. The one who assumes divine direction will walk in divine timing. This is why faith is not about waiting for proof. It is about assuming the proof exists before it appears. The one who truly believes they are led does not hesitate, does not waver, does not look for confirmation. They simply move, knowing that every step is unfolding exactly as it should. When you fully embrace the end, when you live from the state of your desire already being fulfilled, you remove all doubt, all resistance, all fear. You no longer chase after your dreams. You embody them. There's no power in merely wishing for change. There is power only in assuming that the change has already happened. When you persist in the feeling of already having what you seek, reality has no choice but to conform. The world cannot contradict the state you dwell in. Therefore, to be led in divine wisdom is not to wait for guidance, but to live as though you are already walking in perfect harmony with it. There is no force greater than assumption. The world you see, the experiences you encounter, and the life you live are all shaped by what you assume to be true. It is not effort, struggle, or chance that determines your reality. It is the state you persistently occupy in your mind. Whether you realize it or not, the life you are living right now is a reflection of the assumptions you have accepted as real. You do not experience what you merely desire. You experience what you assume to be yours. Most people misunderstand the nature of creation. They believe their circumstances dictate their beliefs, that they must first see results before they can believe in them. But this is entirely backward. The truth is, your beliefs dictate your circumstances. The outer world is nothing more than a mirror reflecting the assumptions you hold within. If you assume yourself to be unlucky, you will find misfortune at every turn. If you assume yourself to be guided and blessed, you will walk a path where everything aligns for your highest good. There is no escaping the law, for it operates constantly, whether you are aware of it or not. Every thought you entertain with conviction, every feeling you dwell upon, every identity you assume, all of these shape the events and conditions of your life. If you wish to see change, you must first become the change in consciousness. You cannot wait for proof. You must assume the proof already exists. You must step into the reality of your desire, mentally and emotionally, long before it takes shape in the physical world. To assume is not to wish, nor is it to pretend. It is to accept as true, without question, the state you desire to manifest. It is to live in the certainty that what you seek is already yours. The moment you assume something with full conviction, reality begins to shift to accommodate that assumption. It does not matter if the world appears unchanged at first. The seed has been planted, and in due time it must bear fruit. Many struggle because they believe change must come from external effort. They think if they work harder, push more, or try to manipulate circumstances, they will achieve their desires. But all of this is unnecessary. The real work is internal. The one who assumes success will move through life with a confidence that naturally attracts opportunities. The one who assumes guidance will find themselves in the right place at the right time, effortlessly led toward the fulfillment of their highest good. The one who assumes love will be met with love in every form. Doubt and fear are nothing more than assumptions in the wrong direction. The moment you entertain the idea that something is impossible, you have set that assumption into motion. The universe does not argue with you. It simply reflects what you persist in believing. If you assume struggle, struggle will find you. If you assume ease, ease will become your reality. There is no outside force determining your fate. There is only the reflection of your inner state. To be led in divine wisdom is to assume beyond all doubt that you are already being guided. It is to live as though every step is ordered, as though every decision is aligned with higher purpose. It is to walk in the knowing that you cannot fail, because the assumption of success already guarantees the outcome. What you persist in assuming, you will inevitably experience. Therefore, the question is never whether or not you will manifest. It is only a question of what you are assuming right now. Be still and know there is a great power that few ever truly understand. The power of stillness. In a world that rushes, struggles, and seeks endlessly, the greatest truth is often overlooked. All that you desire, all that you seek, already exists, waiting to be realized within you. There is no need to force, no need to beg, no need to struggle for what is already yours. The only requirement is stillness, an unshakable knowing that what you have asked for is already given. Most people live in a constant state of movement, believing that action alone is the key to fulfillment. They believe that if they just do more, strive harder, or search longer, they will finally arrive at what they seek. But this is the illusion that keeps them trapped. The moment you look outside yourself for guidance, for answers, for confirmation, you declare to the universe that you do not yet possess them. And as long as you assume you are lacking, lack must continue to be your experience. To be still is not to be inactive, it is to be unwavering. It is to enter a state of complete confidence, where no external condition can shake the truth you hold within. It is to rest in the knowing that what you have declared to be true must come to pass, that what you have assumed in consciousness must be made manifest. The restless mind seeks proof before believing, but the mind that is still knows that belief is the proof. There is no greater act of faith than stillness. The one who is still does not waver, does not question, does not ask when or how, because they know it is already done. To be still is to surrender, not in weakness, but in absolute power. It is to give up the struggle of trying to make things happen and instead allow them to unfold effortlessly in perfect order. The world may appear unchanged, circumstances may not yet reflect the new reality, but none of that matters to the one who knows. The one who knows does not seek signs, for the knowing itself is the sign. Fear, doubt, and impatience only arise when one forgets who they are. The moment you begin to question, to doubt, to look for proof, you step out of the stillness and into the chaos of the world. And yet, the moment you return to stillness, to the quiet certainty that all is well, everything begins to align once again. The universe does not respond to anxiety or desperation, it responds to conviction. The one who is still does not chase, does not beg, does not struggle. They simply know, and in that knowing all things come to them. Stillness is not the absence of movement, it is the presence of certainty. It is the deep, unshakable realization that all things are already accomplished. It is the state in which manifestation is no longer a question of possibility, but a matter of inevitability. The moment you enter stillness, the moment you truly know, you release every barrier, every obstacle, every resistance that stands between you and your desire. You cease to fight against life and instead allow life to unfold in perfect harmony. Everything you have ever sought, everything you have ever desired is already within you. It is not waiting in some distant future. It is here, now, ready to be recognized. The only question is whether you will allow yourself to see it. Will you continue to seek outwardly, to struggle, to doubt, to waver? Or will you be still and know that all things are already yours? The power to shape your life has never been outside of you. It has always been within your imagination, within your assumptions, within the deep knowing of who you truly are. The moment you surrender to this truth, the moment you accept that you are already one with divine wisdom, your entire reality begins to shift. You no longer wait for guidance, you walk in it. You no longer seek answers, you embody them. You no longer hope for change, you assume it is already done. To say, Lord, take control of my life and lead me in your perfect way today is not a plea for help. It is a declaration of trust. It is the recognition that you are not separate from the divine, but an expression of it. And when you walk in this awareness, when you assume the state of being guided, blessed, and fulfilled, life must reflect that truth. So be still. Know who you are. Assume the best. Live from the end. And walk in the absolute conviction that you are already led in perfect wisdom. There is nothing more to seek, only something to accept. And once you accept it, once you fully embody the knowing that all things are already aligned in your favor, the world will unfold before you in ways beyond your wildest imagination.